Hi, how's it going, everybody? My name is Infamous Isaac, and I'm here with a video on a movie I watched recently, as in like literally 3 minutes ago. And I'm going to be talking about that very movie, which is The Interview. So, the movie came out like 2014. It's almost 10 years old, which is crazy to think about because I was in like sixth grade when this movie came out. But one thing I do remember when it came out was that it caused a huge stir because this movie is about Kim Jong Un, well, not a proper, but a prominent member in politics because he's the leader of North Korea. So it's just like, oh shoot, you're making a movie about a world leader that is very dangerous and has a bunch of stuff going on about him that I'm not gonna mention because it's a whole different subject that I am not well versed in. I'm not gonna say anything stupid, but this movie is exactly that. It's stupid, but this movie is about that, about James Franco playing a character, and what's his name? Seth Rogen playing the character, going to interview Kim Jong Un as like a little synopsis. And without going into spoilers, that was just like the basis of the movie. This movie is dumb. Like I can't specify that enough. This movie is so stupid, and the only reason I'm able to laugh at it is because of how stupid it really is. Like James Franco's jokes as his character didn't make me laugh, like in the slightest. But the scenarios that he was in as his character did make me laugh. And then just a scene at the end of the movie that just the absurdity of it made me laugh. But this movie itself didn't really get me to laugh because of its jokes that it were telling, because it's crude humor. It's just crude humor. That's all it is, right? And that's fine if you like it. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. But I don't laugh at that type of stuff, or at least often. So it's not really for me. But it has a little bit of dark humor, or darker humor, and just crude humor, period. And that's how most people can get their laughs, and that's perfectly fine, especially since it came out 2014, still in like the early age of the internet, or at least like the earlier age of the internet compared to where we're at now, where humor like that was just perfectly normal, and that's just how it is. Because you gotta remember the time period that it came out in as well. So this is just normal humor. This is how it was, you know? It's a product of its time. And that's perfectly fine. So going into that, I knew that. But I just didn't expect how stupid this movie would really be. Like, it's just senseless fun. And it really goes for that. So I gotta give it like a 6. Honestly, like, it's not a great movie, frankly. I don't even know if it's a good movie. It's all right. It's okay. I gave it a 6 because there's some cameo songs that appear in it. They're like, wow, these songs make the movie just 1 point better than what it would have been before. And on top of that, I just think, excuse me, Kim Jong Un's actor is really good, like a really really good actor. But you also gotta remember, me going into this, I knew James Franco and Seth Rogen were in it. I never seen a movie with Seth Rogen in it, excuse me. And I've seen James Franco in Spider-Man in the Spider-Man trilogy. So I was just expecting him to be like Harry Osborn. No, he wasn't. He was not like Harry Osborn whatsoever. He was Dave Skylark, and that stuff was just like such a far cry from what he was from Harry Osborn. And that's perfectly fine because you're not going to be the same character. You're in a different role. You're not reprising the same role. But I just like the tonal shift from what he was there to this is just whiplash, complete whiplash. But yeah, this movie's a 6. The story's fine. The jokes were okay. They weren't really they weren't really getting me. But some moments that were there were really good for me. And just like they just got me a laugh because of how stupid they were. So it's a 6. It's okay. But let me go into the spoiler stuff. So you've been warned, spoiler stuff coming. But the point of the movie, or at least the plot, is Dave Skylark and Aaron Rappaport are two people who work on a TV show, right? Where it's journalism. It's an interview. It's like Tonight with what's his name, or Jimmy Fallon and stuff like that. Shows like that where he does an interview with a popular celebrity and just stuff like that. And Dave Skylark is the face, while Aaron is the man behind the cameras, the presentation, all that stuff. Like he's basically kind of like his agent. And they interview the movie, or they start the movie with Eminem, where he's like, and it's actual Eminem, which is fire too, where he's just sitting there and he's like, yeah, so people just don't know that I'm gay, and it's like, oh wow, Eminem is a homosexual man, and everybody just starts going crazy, and it literally breaks the internet. People are tweaking. Apparently, there's a gay Twitter. I didn't know this, but honestly, not looking at it now, especially in 2023, I wouldn't be surprised. LGBTQ has grown crazy in size, so having a gay or like LGBTQ Twitter isn't surprising. It's just they mentioned it in 2014. Like I didn't realize that Twitter was that big back then. But after the Eminem interview, which by the way, honestly, like that's the only part of the movie I've ever seen because I've seen it on Instagram, like at least that clip, and wow, that clip is wild. But after that interview, they're like, oh shoot, you just got like a message from one of the people over in North Korea. They're saying that Kim Jong Un wants to be interviewed by him. You know, he says like he's a huge fan and that he'd be down for an interview. So they're like, oh yeah, let's set it up. You know, like, and Aaron himself has a problem where it's like, dang man, like I feel like I could be doing so much more as a journalist, telling real stories and shining light on tragic events in the world. And Dave is just like, yeah, man. I mean, this could be it right here. Let's do it. And for context, Aaron is kind of a serious guy in terms of like he's a journalist. He wants to provide truth to people. Dave is just normal weird frat guy. Honestly, like he's a host, but in reality, once the lights are off, he goes to do coke and ecstasy, and Aaron is right there with him. I can't even lie. Like they both be doing it. Aaron tries to be serious, but in reality, we know he's just like Dave, and Dave doesn't try to be anybody else except himself. He knows who he is. He's young and he's living his life. You know, that's how they go. And once they set up the interview, they go over to North Korea. But before that, the CIA goes to Dave's house, and they're like, "Yo, we need you to kill Kim Jong Un. We need you to go over there and poison him with a ricin strip." Which if you remember Breaking Bad, it's just like ha ha ha. But yeah, they're gonna poison Kim Jong Un with a ricin strip, and after they agree to it, which they were contemplating it before, but now they agree to it. They go over to North Korea, excuse me, not Kim Jong Un. Go over to North Korea, get all this stuff going on. The rice and strip accidentally gets discovered, and somebody eats it. All that stuff, all shenanigans. They just get acclimated with North Korea, basically. They just get Afghanated with it. And as they're going about their business, after getting a license strip from all these people, they go over to meet Kim Jong Un, or at least Dave does. And Dave starts having second thoughts, like, oh shoot, Kim Jong Un's actually a cool guy. The way like he's presented to us in this movie, he's like, oh wow, this dude's just like me. We both had horrible fathers and we've had rough lives, you know. But at the end of the day, we're together. We're brothers, you know. We're brothers united, and they become really good friends. And Aaron is just like, dog, we have to kill Kim Jong Un no matter what. This is our job. If we don't, we're gonna die by the CIS, or excuse me, CIA. And so they have a big fight. What's his name? Dave goes over to Kim Jong Un because he has a meeting with him, and this was after the guy that ate the rice and strip in the middle of the movie died because he did die. He finds out that Kim in reality is just a messed up guy no matter how you look at it. Even if his situation put him into this place of power, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. He's only 31. He still is a messed up guy, you know. The teachings of his father and grandfather are still in him. And so Dave is like, "Oh shoot, man. This guy's crazy." And then he goes to a grocery store next to the restaurant that they were at because he needed a break, and he needed to smoke and just chill. He sees that the restaurant, or excuse me, the grocery store is fake. It's not real. So Kim was basically just a honeypot, the way that they describe it in the movie, where they're sweetening the deal to convince what's his name, Dave, that nothing is wrong with North Korea, when in reality everything's wrong with North Korea. So he goes back to Aaron, and they're like, "Yo, what do we do? Let's kill him." And Aaron, on the other hand, when he went to go orchestrate the meeting for Dave, all the way back in like the beginning of the movie, he met this girl, this agent that was traveling with the Korean soldiers to meet with what's his name, Aaron, and they know each other, right? They recognize each other, and that same agent fell in love with Aaron, and Aaron did the same thing, and so they're just having sex in the room, excuse me, but now Dave walks in and they all orchestrate a plan together because the agent actually hates Kim Jong Un, or at the very least hates the way he's running the country. So they're gonna try to expose him to the Korean people to show that, yo, this man is not a god. He is human. He is fallible, and he does have a butthole. quote unquote. So they orchestrate the interview still, they go to do it, and now you have Kim who gives what's his name, Dave, a puppy because he mentions his puppy Digby in the restaurant, and they're like, oh, he's trying to sweeten the deal, make sure like the interview goes as planned because they have a script for Dave to read to show like, yo, this is all orchestrated. People know all that stuff, so it's like, oh, you know, it's a fake interview. Basically, they're trying to show that it's a fake interview, or at the very least, Dave knows it's a fake interview. It they weren't gonna allow him to be interviewed if it wasn't fake. So that's what they're trying to say. And Dave goes to do the interview. Kim is there, and they just start talking, doing the script, and then Dave realizes like, yo, nah, f this dog, I'm done. And he's like, he starts bringing up stuff that Kim brought up to him in his personal time, and Kim starts cracking, he starts breaking, and he starts crying because Dave started singing "Firework" by Katy Perry, which, by the way, stupid, like actually dumb, but it's because they played "Firework" during a tank scene where they were hanging out together, and it's one of his favorite songs ever. But Dave starts singing it, and Kim actually shoots him, but Dave had a bulletproof vest on, and so he lives, he survives. Kim goes to launch nukes on the west coast of California, or just the west coast of the United States, excuse me, and now they have to go stop him. And so they go to stop him, basically just trying to escape, and they have this crazy huge action sequence. Me, it was really boring. I didn't really care about it, but they finish it and then they start playing firework during it. And once they finish it, Sukin, uh, Sukin Park, I think is what her name was. She's with them, and she goes to escort them out of a tunnel because she realizes like, yo, I can't leave the country. I'm the one who put it in disarray. I'm the one who has to fix it. So Aaron gets basically like, yo, I'm sorry, but my country comes first. And Aaron's like, all right, well, I mean, it sucks, but whatever, do it. And no, in reality, he's like, nah, please don't leave. And she's like, I have to. And so Aaron and Dave leave, and they get found out by a team of Viet Cong people, right? Or excuse me, Vietnam and communist people are completely different from what this movie's about. This is North Korea, so they get discovered by a bunch of soldiers near the area where they escaped, and it turns out. So there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where they're talking to the CIA lady. I forgot her name. She's like, oh wow. So if you're not gonna use the relationship to Dave, how are you gonna get out of there? How are you gonna kill Kim Jong Un? And Dave was like, yo, so check me out. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna cap him, and then I'm gonna leave with Aaron because we're gonna be escorted out. We're gonna leave, and then we're gonna be found by SEAL Team 6, and then we're gonna ride off in a boat like Fortunate Son. And he wasn't wrong. Like he was like 80% right about how he did it. He didn't cap Kim Jong Un. He blew him up with a tank because he was in a helicopter. He blew him up, and they left. They left through the jungles, through the forests of North Korea, which he did mention. I didn't mention it, but he did, where he mentioned that they would leave through there, and then they were found by SEAL Team 6. They were like, Echo Romeo 5, Echo Romeo 5, we found Aardvark and Dung Beetle, over out. And it was just like, bro, ain't no way he was actually right. That is so crazy. That was the funniest part of the movie for me. The fact that the beginning of the movie predicted the ending of the movie. And I thought that was hilarious, bro. Oh my gosh. Definitely the funniest part of the movie. But yeah, they get escorted out. They go back to the United States, and after all that was done, they make the book, or excuse me, the book that what was his name? Dave said he was gonna make the tell-all to the CIA and all that. He was like, yeah, we orchestrated this, blah 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 blah, and it's basically a happy ending. Dave is more popular than ever, and now, excuse me, gets to Skype with Sukin Park because she has Skype now, since now all the restrictions and sanctions in North Korea are uplifted. They're having democratic elections now. And yeah, it's just a happy ending. They're all doing good, and Dave and Aaron are happy as can be. And that's where the movie ends. That's where the interview, 2014, ends. And let me tell you guys, this again, it's really stupid. Like it's so dumb. I cannot stress this enough. This movie had me short circuiting from how dumb it actually was. So I don't recommend this movie if you take movies seriously. But if you don't care, you just want to have a fun time, just watch the movie. It's not that bad. Like the jokes are tasteless for sure. The jokes are tasteless and outdated to say the least. But they're not that bad. You know, the movie isn't that bad. My favorite scenes were definitely with Kim Jong Un because Dave and Kim were just so funny together. It was actually crazy. And also the fact that in one of those scenes they were playing basketball and they had a Millie playing, and then in another scene and it was just like, bro, you had a Millie playing by Lil Wayne. Like, come on, that's fire, that's hard. So I'm gonna give you that. So it was gonna be a point above what it should have been, and it's a six because of. But the music, it was okay. There was normal Hollywood movie stuff. It was all right. It had two important guests, or it had Eminem. Well, yeah, he's an important guest, but also you have what's this dude saying? James Franco and Seth Rogen, and prominent actors in Hollywood. So it's like, oh, you know, whatever. But it's just so it's okay. It's an alright movie. That's all I can really say. It was the first like movie where I feel indifferent about it. It was funny. It had its good moments, but then also had its bad ones that were just like, uh, it was weird. But overall, it's okay. Again, 6 out of 10. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, I don't blame you. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me for now. It's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think down below about the movie. And yeah, it's been it from Miss Isaac. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace.